its forms and manifestations, including state terrorism perpetrated against people living under foreign occupation and disputed territories. As we commemorate the 75th anniversary of the defeat of Nazism and fascism during the Second World War, we must learn lessons from history and work to ensure against the resurgence of such destructive ideologies. We must also continue to steadfastly oppose extremist and xenophobic tendencies, including racist ideologies inspired by neo-Nazism and Islamophobia. We must resolutely oppose divisive policies based on prejudice and discrimination and focus on building interfaith and cross-cultural bridges. It is imperative that willful provocations and incitement to hate, especially on religious grounds, are universally outlawed. Deliberately insulting religions and sacred religious symbols provokes hatred and violent extremism, leading to further polarization and fragmentation of humanity. Therefore, SCO members should continue to call for mutual respect of all religions and beliefs, and for fostering a culture of peace, fraternity, and harmony. Excellencies, my government is particularly focused on providing relief to the poor segments of the society. And this inspiration we have got from the way China raised 700 million out of poverty in the last 30 years. In this context, we thank all members of supporting our initiative for establishing an SCO special working group on poverty alleviation. We must pool our efforts to fight the threat posed by climate change. It is important that all commitments made in the Paris Agreement on climate change are fulfilled. In particular, the commitment to mobilize $100 billion annually as climate finance. On its part, Pakistan is making renewed efforts to mitigate adverse effects of climate change. We have launched an ecosystem restoration initiative. I repeat, ecosystem restoration initiative, which includes the planting of 10 billion trees in the next 3 years. Fighting corruption and economic crimes is another important area of focus for my government. We welcome SCO's emphasis on strengthening international cooperation in fighting these menaces. We must firmly oppose illicit financial flows from developing countries, which impoverish these nations and severely retard their development endeavors. Efforts must be made to bring back the stolen wealth to enable the affected nations realize their legitimate aspirations for development and a hopeful future. I would like to express Pakistan's gratification on becoming a member of the SCO Youth Council. With 65% of our population under the age of 30, Pakistan highly values cooperation in tapping the immense potential of our youth and involving them in the socio-economic uplift of our societies. Excellencies, going forward, I would like to make 6 specific proposals aimed at galvanizing our mutually beneficially result-oriented efforts through the SCO platforms. First, we should create an SCO knowledge bank of best practices to fight COVID-19 in order to guide us through the second wave and beyond. Second, we should work out a strategy as an SCO action plan to mitigate the adverse effects on the economy of COVID-19. And it should be short-term, medium, and long-term, including by prioritization an SCO unified framework for emergency preparations developed in consultation with the WHO. Number 3, we should take a united stand that the COVID-19 vaccine must be viewed as a global public good, affordable and accessible to all. Fourth, we should call for more measures by G20 to meet common challenges like climate change, deteriorating environment, widening inequality within and among nations, poverty, disease, hunger and sustainable development, and above all, the illicit movement of money from developing world to offshore bank accounts to rich countries, which is devastating the developing world. Fifth, we should formulate a multi-year SCO youth strategy with a focus on building partnerships among educational institutions. Sixth, we should develop SCO partnership for technology, offering scholarships and exchange programs for youth in the scientific field. I wish this meeting all the success. Thank you.
वज़ीर-ए-आज़म इमरान खान शंघाई ताउन तंजीम इजलास में खिताब कर रहे थे। उनका कहना था कि इस वक्त दुनिया को बैनुल मज़ाहिब हम आहंगी की अशद जरूरत है। अफगानिस्तान में मुस्तकिल क़याम अमन के लिए तमाम फरीकैन को किरदार अदा करना होगा।